Let me show you how we do stuff around here.
Actually, my department uses Monday.com.
Oh, here we go. Hey everyone, it's me, lcadilac. Welcome back to my weekly Young Thug trial updates. This is the trial. This trial is literally going to last an eternity, y'all. This week was so boring. Remember how last week I talked to you about how they talked about this 911 call for like basically an entire day? They were talking about the 911 call. Guess what they did on Monday? Spent the entire day talking about the 911 call. Are you freaking kidding me? The 911 call was hearsay on hearsay, and there was no person to bring it in. But I think what the judge ended up deciding is they would redact the name Young Thug, thereby making the entire call pointless and therefore all that time wasted. We continued this week to deep dive in an incident that occurred in 2013. I want you to think about what today's date is. Today is March 1st, 2024. Today was day 40 of this trial. And they were discussing things that happened in September, around September 11, 2013. That's 11 years ago, y'all. Oh, hold on. Technically, it's only 10 and a half. I am just glad I'm not a Georgia taxpayer. That's all I got to say about this. I mean, if I were paying taxes in Georgia, I would be lit right now. I would be lit. Side note, last week, Fani Willis, or Fani, however you say your name, was testifying in the Trump cases because they're trying to have her disqualified from those cases. And evidence was coming out about some, relationship she had with the special prosecutor. What I think is interesting, the only reason I'm interested in that is while I was gone on my little break, there was some cross-examination where one of the YSL attorneys mentioned that one of the founders of YSL was defended by Fani, but when she was a defense attorney, and had a relationship with her and was not indicted in this case. So, I don't know if any of that is true, but what I have to say is that women had to work really hard to get into jobs like that. So, like, when we are in jobs like that, we need to do them right. We need to do them better than right. We need to be doing it backwards in heels. I hate that the onus is that high, but like, geez Louise. So, I don't know what's going on with her or why she was voted for. I'm relatively confident that she will not be reelected. If she is reelected, I will make fun of Fulton County for the rest of my life. That is a promise. Really, I had an eventful week in my own practice, but this case has just been ungodly boring. So we're still talking about this incident in 2013 where I guess some people were shot and a car flew over a cop car and then landed and went headfirst into a coin laundry place, and then 4 black men scattered from the car. Last week, we heard inconsistent reports about what happened in this incident from several different detectives and police officers from Fulton County. And every single variation of what happened completely was different. Every person's what they said happened was totally different than the next person. Furthermore, I do not understand at all, what running a car into a wall has to do with the furtherance of this gang, with gang activity, with making money for the gang. It seems like that just made trouble for the gang if there is a gang. Okay, so we're bored to death talking about this stupid incident with this red Nissan Altima or Sentra, I don't know, flying over the cop car. Nobody remembers exact details. Nobody really remembers anything And the prosecution calls this guy, I can't remember his name, I swear his last name's like Acorn or something. And he is absolutely, hands down, my favorite witness of all time. I love this guy. If I were a criminal, this is the guy I would want to be friends with. Like, this guy is awesome. So the prosecution called him yesterday was Thursday, okay. They were still questioning him after a very brief work day yesterday. The judge called everyone back in this morning, and they again had a very brief work day, and the prosecution is still questioning this guy. This guy does not have a plea deal, to the best of my knowledge, so he really doesn't care. Like, what he says doesn't matter to him. The prosecutor laid it out very early in his testimony that he did not want to be there. And she's like, "You don't want to be here, do you?" And he said no. And so she started asking him things about this incident in 2013. Which, by the way, guys, like, just take away. Do you remember what you were doing on September 11th, 2013? Now, you probably didn't run a car into a wall, which is something to, like, remember. But, like, I was in a car accident in June of 2006. And, like, I don't remember much about that day at all. Like, at all. So even on days that are significant, like, over time, you start to lose memory. If you have, that's going to be more and more true, like, with the difficulty of your life. The more difficult life you have, the easier it is going to be forget those memories. Now, I personally have a trauma response where I almost immediately forget. That comes from my childhood. I had to, be able to forgive my mother every day so that I could, like, survive, because I needed to feel safe and comfortable. So, like, I instantly forget things. Instant forget. And then someone will ask me about it, and I'll be, oh yeah, I might remember. I don't know. And it's 10 and a half years ago. I for sure do not remember. I know I worked at AT&T. I know that because my daughter was born in 2012. So she was like a year old, and I know I was working there. That's about the extent. All right, so I am going to play for you some of this guy, because he is absolutely my favorite witness of all time. First, she starts asking him, like, did you do this? Did you do this? And he says, I don't remember. And then she asks him a question. He's like, can I tell you something? And she's like, yes. And I'll play this. And he's like, I don't remember 2013. So she continues. Then she switches her format, and she starts basically, like, reading the police report line by line. Do you remember doing this? No. Do you remember saying this? No. Do you remember that? I'll show you some of this, okay? It's not the most exciting, but this, I just love this witness. My goodness, I love this witness. He stays so on point, too. So here we go. Let's listen. Well, if we have sound, hold on. Where's my sound? Okay, also, he has his mask on. Like, I swear he's wearing the mask so that you can't read his face. I think that's what he's doing.
Do you know, when you say you don't remember this address, do you remember the structure inside this photograph? Okay?
So she just showed him a picture of a place that he lived. He says he doesn't remember the structure. He's like, nope, no recollection. I love this guy.
What was the last address that you remember living at in Atlanta?
703 Hudson.
So he doesn't remember a place he lived. I love that.
What zone is that in?
Zone 3.
And how far would that be from the location of Cleveland Avenue and Old Cato Road in Atlanta?
I really can't tell you how much.
He just lived in this area his whole life. He absolutely knows approximately this. I love him.
Mr. B, when he spoke at your job,
Too. No, ma'am.
what time in here and testify?
I wouldn't have objected to that. Let him say that he doesn't want to be there.
And did you come only because you were giving us a PPP?
Yes, it was.
That lawyer just objected, said it was leading. The judge sustained because it was leading. She said that wasn't leading. Judge said yes, it was. I swear these state attorneys are like learning how to do their job in this courtroom.
Your Honor, respectfully, with the yes or no question I have.
It's still leading. God, I do not like her, y'all.
If you had not received this subpoena, would you be here today?
Hell no.
No, ma'am.
Hell no.
Mr. Bean, do you drive?
Do I drive
Yes, sir.
a car?
Do you drive at all? Are you able to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a vehicle in 2013?
None of my name.
No matter who.
Well, at least he remembered that.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna take your attention back to September 11th of 2013.
Okay.
Do you,
I just gotta say this. If I put myself as a juror, but I am a lawyer, so I would be like a lawyer juror. It is irritating to me that we are listening to crap about stuff that happened 10 years ago. Like, what does this have to do with this case?
recall that day?
In 2013, I don't really recall nothing that happened in 2013.
There it is. He says, I don't,
Well, let me ask you a more specific question. Do you,
and I'm with him. Don't be calling me in to testify about something that happened 10 years ago. I don't know. There's a reason we have statutes of limitation, okay? Part of that is for the freshness of witness memories.
recall ever crashing a vehicle into the point line at Cleveland Avenue in Oakland?
I really don't remember.
He doesn't remember flying a car, and yeah, that's awesome.
As JW exhibit number 80, that's 80, and ask you if you recognize it.
She's supposed to share it with the defense first. She's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that she was just walking up there without showing them is ridiculous. I do not like that. I do like this suit that YSL Max has on. Oh, by the way, I saw a comment and I shared it with you last week. Someone called him YSL Steel. So now to me, 100%, I'm calling 100% of the lawyers YSL, and then whatever this guy's name, I think is Max Sharp, YSL Sharp. He is, I like this color. He is a good lawyer. I like navy also, but. Okay, let's just ask this guy more questions. Oh, look at Thug that day.
In a yellow dress
Ooh.
and a young man.
I do not like that striped suit. Ugh.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, with the record reflects that the witness has identified the defendant Jeffrey Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Were you familiar with Jeffrey Williams on September 11th of 2013?
I can't recall.
When did you first meet Jeffrey Williams?
I can't recall.
Yes.
I only know Jeffrey Williams been making music.
Oh, I love him so much.
And being in the
I love him
neighborhood,
so much.
like surrounding the neighborhood, Cleveland, but I don't know him like personally. We don't have no business. I don't hang with Jeffrey Williams. I'm not a member of YSL.
Hi, Mrs. Mondo.
Nothing I don't know.
Hi, Mrs. Mondo. Thanks for joining us. This is literally, you've just entered the best witness of all time. So, we're just going to sit through him. He's fun. What do you think about all this, Mrs. Mondo?
part of anything that's going on with nothing that I can recall of.
What did you call Jeffrey Williams?
Ma'am,
What did you call Jeffrey Williams? You said you knew him by his music. What did you call him back in 2013?
just don't see that.
She's trying to get him to say that he called him Young Thug.
I never really called him anything.
When you referred to him, did you use a particular name?
No, ma'am.
Oh, I love this witness,
Did you know
y'all.
him by his music?
All right,
What
let's
is the name that
go a
you
little
know
further.
him?
Like, this is so boring because he doesn't actually answer any questions. Mrs. Mondo, I agree. I think he is hilarious. It cracks me up to see him avoid these answers like the plague. And he's kind of running circles around this prosecutor. I don't like her, y'all. If this was me and this was the reason I don't like this prosecutor is, you know, we all have like a list, right? A list of points we want to make. But you have to read and know your audience. And if you're trying to get through the list, you often have to, you know, move. You have to be more fluid. So you have, if you can't make that exact point, that's okay, as long as you kind of get to the point, right? You can draw conclusions on your closing. You don't have to hammer points the way this prosecution does. I've seen them with their checklist. And it's like, if they don't have that thing, like they're hanging on to it so tightly, I don't like that. As an attorney, I think that's terrible. So I litigate, I don't do that. If I'm at a bench trial, I'm reading the judge looks irritated, I'm gonna move on. As long as my point has been grazed over, then I can always connect the dots later on. I don't need to pound things and pound things. They just really do. And Mrs. Mondo, we think it's a waste of time too. I talked to my son, he's only 19. I was talking to him on Monday about this trial. I haven't told him about this great witness yet. Her voice is awful. But I was talking to my son, and he's like, man, that trial's still going? My daughter, same thing. The trial's still going? I said, look, I'm going to be a great-grandmother by the time this is over. This is craziness, y'all. We're looking at stuff from 2013. Ew. Why? Okay, here we go.
Oh, that car you showed.
You remember what it was? I'll let you place it on the screen.
I think this guy was the actual driver of this car.
Would you zoom in, please?
This is like, you can't see it in this picture, but over this area where my hand is like that wall. And they just like flew over it. I bet that was actually kind of fun.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's the ultimate one, right?
That you're looking at, you know, let's show.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember ever being in that car?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember ever driving that car?
I don't remember, ma'am.
September 11th.
Okay, so she gets tired of asking him, do you remember, and him saying, or she gets kind of tired of this back and forth where he's able to answer, I don't remember. So they go on to lunch, and then they come back, and then she starts just like reading. Oh, y'all, sorry about the commercials, you know, still not paying for premium.
Do you remember Detective Quinn asking?
Mrs. Mondo, you talked to your friend about tax dollars going to waste. I talked to that about my son. He's like, thank God I'm not a taxpayer in Georgia, because if I were, I would be lit. Such a waste of time and money. I mean, these people could be prosecuting like real criminals, and instead they're telling us about crap that happened in 2013. And by the way, someone who was involved in that did serve time with their involvement. So it's not like that crime wasn't adjudicated.
Whether or not the gun was an automatic or something else.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall
Do you know if a gun is automatic? No.
telling Detective Quinn that all the guns were automatic?
No, ma'am.
Do you know the difference between a pistol and a revolver?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I need someone to help me here because I thought that revolvers were pistols. I thought revolvers were. Oh man, Mrs. Mondo, your friend actually lives in Fulton County. Ooh, I hope he is protesting. I hope he is out there organizing his neighbors. This is awful. Okay, someone help me. Isn't a pistol just a short gun? Like pistol, rifle, and then shotgun is the kind you do that? I thought that a revolver was a type of pistol. She's just asking if he knows the difference. I guarantee you he knows about guns, but he doesn't recall right now.
Do you recall, let me ask you this. Did you hang with DK Thug and Big Fred back in September of 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective, I don't hang with them?
No, ma'am.
Y'all, he's so bored. We're so bored. Everyone's so bored.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall, or do you know how old Young Thug is?
No, ma'am.
Did you know how old he was or around the age he was on September 11, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying to a detective with APD, these are younger guys than me and Big Fred?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that y'all were trying to show your big homie a good time?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay, like that's literally it. Then today he got on the stand and it was the same thing. No ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. What's incredibly shocking to me is that man is older than Young Thug, who's 33. That man looks so young. So today, just more of the same thing, and it was absolutely, I don't know, boring. Didn't make any sense. Total waste of time. I had taken these screenshots like a few weeks ago, and I just totally forgot to show them to you. But if you search YSL in Instagram, like look at all these people. YSL lashes. Here's the ISD 444 YSL. This girl YSL Shelby. I had seen like a yoga mom. It was like yoga mom YSL. And I'm thinking, if these people are in Fulton County, every single one of them is getting charged with Rico. I guess it's a very low standard. I don't understand why we're even here. I don't get it. I like it because it's entertaining to me and I get to come talk to y'all about it. But I don't understand it. Mrs. Mondo, she said she was finished with him today. But if you recall, she in the past has said, I'm done with the witness. Then they go on a break, and all of a sudden she has more stuff for the witness. She's done that. Several times she did that with Tick. And I don't think that she's actually done. So I think on Monday she's going to have thought of more questions over the weekend, ask him those questions, and then let the defense get to him. I cannot wait to see how he answers defense questions. Are they full sentences? Does he say anything more than I do not recall? Does his memory somehow get restored over the weekend? You know, all of those things will be very interesting to watch next week. So, I've been watching this so that you don't have to. You are very welcome. Thank you for joining me here on my live. If you don't already subscribe, please do. Please click that little button and make sure you hit like. There are like algorithm gods that we need to feed. So please do that for me. I will be back next week. Next week will be, I think it's like a short week. I think they're only doing testimony on Monday and then they have 7 days off. And then they come back the Tuesday after that. Which, again, like, if I'm a juror, I'm not liking this. This is ridiculous. This is too many breaks. I'm not going to remember all this crap. So, okay, y'all. Thanks for joining me. Mrs. Mondo, thank you. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you again next week.